He's doing it again. He does it on purpose. I told him not to. He's doing it to taunt me. He wants me to suffer, to feel his pain. And his name? Joseph Robinette Biden.
Joe Biden is out of control. Guys, have you been seeing what Joe has been up to recently? It's been crazy. Quite frankly, the guy's lost it. Okay, let me start from the beginning. I wake up from a deep slumber one fateful afternoon. Naturally, I instantly start scrolling through Twitter in a brave act of defiance against my own mental health. Once I fulfill my daily dose of poison governmentally mandated by Mr. Musk, I creep my way over to Instagram because I do woman shit too. I don't know. I start scrolling through my feed when suddenly I see it.
You know, it's just hard being president when you're an empath.
Joe, you cannot tell
what?
We defaulted on our debt.
The fuck you mean we defaulted on our debt?
Plankton has stolen the Krabby Patty secret formula.
Draw my pistol on the second man.
Ben and Jerry's shit was actually fire. No pun intended.
Okay, what is going on? What the hell did you just say? Joe, you can't say that. Joe, come on, stop it. Stop it, Joe, bad. What are you doing, man? As I'm sure you know by now, dear viewers, this is in fact a deepfake. A video produced with the assistance of AI in order to make a subject do or say something they did not in fact do nor say. Two roads diverge, bitch. Be careful. Which side are you on? And if I haven't made it just abundantly clear by now, these are the funniest goddamn things I've ever seen. When Joe Biden says,
This kush must be Freudian the way it brings up deep-seated emotions and unconscious thoughts.
I laugh so hard, I feel like I'm dying. But how the hell did we get here? Terminally online. This is a phrase I'm sure you're intimately familiar with given the fact that you're watching a Mia Cole production. However, if you're not in the know, allow me to destroy your spirit with facts and logic. Terminally online is a state of being. It's something you can generally see within somebody that describes their intimate familiarity with the internet. Let me illustrate this for you. As we as a society increase our what the Okay. Oh yeah. Oh Jesus Christ. So as you can see, these things positively correlate. $60 on this whiteboard. Trash. Reliance on the internet also comes in various different forms. Everyone relies on it to some degree. On the far lower side, we have things like GPS, scheduling appointments, sending emails. These are what we call normal activities. I know that must be hard for some of you to understand, but I assure you it's a real thing. The further we go on this graph, the more online you get. Oh God. And eventually you become more and more entrenched in internet culture, relying on online communities and in-groups, neglecting in-person relationships, until finally you cross over the terminally online barrier. But when does that happen? Okay, back to Joe Biden. In this video, Joe plays a nice game of Minecraft with Donald Trump and Barack Obama. Shenanigans ensues when Trump finds a cave spider spawner in the back of an abandoned mine shaft. Do not fucking laugh at me, I'm being so for real right now. Joe and Barack naturally clown on him and refuse his cries for help.
Not right now, Trump.
Not right now, bro. I literally don't even know where the fuck you at.
Donald then goes so far as to offer them a cut of the diamonds he may find in return for their support. However, Joe refuses this proposal as he already has a diamond chestplate and a diamond sword.
Trump, I don't give a single fuck about your diamonds. I already have a full chestplate and a diamond sword.
Shut the fuck up, Sleepy Joe.
Donald, no need to be rude. I'm trading with some villagers I found using the emeralds we mined earlier.
And Barack, in stark contrast to his foreign policy in the Middle East, is actually peacefully trading with villagers. So he's too busy to accept the proposal.
Holy fuck, I'm gonna fucking die. Oh shit. Fuck!
Trump ultimately dies, and the clip ends with him rage quitting and getting off the server. So what does this all mean? We must look at the text in the broader cultural landscape it was meant to represent. A critical analysis, if you will. Is this a lighthearted canonization of a bunch of past presidents bonding over the shared love of a children's game? Or a deviant fanfiction about the power of gaming and overcoming the odds of an incomprehensible friendship? A story of a simpler world with no political division, and only one game away from moral compromise and understanding. Or do you just really think it's funny when Joe Biden says fuck? So in order to figure out when someone does ultimately become terminally online, I did the only thing I know how. I asked Twitter. Which, admittedly, now that I think about it, there's probably some sampling bias there. But nevertheless, what did the people have to say? What is terminally online? Watching Mia Cole. Subscribing to Mia Cole. Average Mia Cole viewer. Subscribing to the Mia Cole YouTube channel. It's just a picture of my face. God damn it, guys. I am normal. I am normal. I am normal. Great, now I have to plug my Patreon. Thanks a lot, guys. No, but for real, over 2 hours of exclusive Mia Cole content over there. Just check it out. Check it out. It's cool. Just check it out. Okay, so maybe instead of one singular unifying definition, let's try to find a bunch of traits that are characteristic of a person who is terminally online. Like you, understanding things the general public will find incomprehensible due to not being online. Good, yes, that's good. I like it, good. Excluding IRL healthy relationships for online posting. Yes, okay, more. Someone who desperately needs to touch grass. Having a constant connection to the internet. Using online speak in real life. No, silly, that's internet corruption. Try to keep up. Do you not know the lore? You gotta know the lore. Ultimately, I landed here. If internet corruption is when the online bleeds into reality, then terminally online is when the online becomes reality. And thus we must go deeper. Over the course of tonight's program, you will learn the 8 symptoms of being terminally online. By the end, you will not only know how to identify someone of this particular nature, but also to go deeper, to look within. Symptom number 1, affluency in internet culture. By their nature, terminally online people spend a lot of time online. I purposefully make a distinction between terminally online and chronically online, the latter of which being a slightly more laid-back approach to the internet, however still definitely entrenched in online culture. However, terminally online goes deeper and it becomes part of your identity. You would be a different person without it. Where being chronically online becomes a habit, terminally online becomes an identity. Terminally online people are highly connected, sophisticated in their communication, and most of all, well-versed in internet culture. So Joe Biden. In contrast to the previous video, in this one, Joe and Donald both get into an Overwatch lobby.
Ah, Dorado. I love this map. Takes me back.
Is that you again, Joe, on my fucking team?
Oh, great. It's this guy.
Oh, GG, we lost.
A game I admittedly know nothing about because at the age you typically get into gaming, I was too busy grinding out YouTube videos like the top G I truly am. They call me Packer Sanitation Service the way I violate these child labor laws. Call me a slaughterhouse the way I, as a child, worked 40 hours a week. Call me Old Navy the way I built my career off the skilled labor of a 9-year-old. Allegedly. Anyway, so they're playing Overwatch, right? But get this. There's lore here. Joe and Donald have met before. They're enemies. Joe logs into the server, excited by the prospect of playing a map he has such fond memories of. Okay, wait, then it says, when like Van Gogh on a Tuesday, Donald's voice pierces his eardrum. This is so stupid. Who wrote that? I didn't write that.
Is that you again, Joe?
He says with the apparent angst of someone familiar with the shenanigans of such a player. The boys meet again, and even worse, they're on the same team.
This is my rank up game, too.
And it was his rank up game, too. The lore here is abundant. These two have been in this situation before. But then, a glimmer of hope.
You know, I was having a really good day today.
Donald opens up about his day, a rare moment of vulnerability for the two. However, Biden instinctively rejects it.
Don't care.
Went golfing, hit a few holes in one.
Don't care.
Wanted to solo queue some Overwatch to end the
Don't
day,
care.
and I see fucking Bidenator.
Periodically interrupting Don in order to remind him of his ambivalence, ultimately culminating in Joe saying this.
Can't wait until Blizzard fixed matchmaking, Jesus fucking Christ.
And I'm left feeling empty. Like this could have been something. What went wrong? We're continuously progressing into a world where the internet is going to swallow more and more of our time as technology improves. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. Our lives are going to get easier because of this. But I also understand why people are scared. With the rise of AI and deepfakes, scary things are on the horizon. There's a concept in mathematics that many have applied to the theory of technological development called the sigmoid curve. You may have heard it being brought up again recently in regards to artificial intelligence. It's the idea that technological innovations occur in this form. Something new is discovered, invented, or innovated, which in turn creates more and more opportunity for everyone to rush in and develop this tech in new and exciting ways. And the only catch is, you never know where you are on the line. In the last year, we've seen a lot of jumps forward in AI and deepfakes in particular. Deepfakes only a few years ago used to take massive amounts of computing power and days to render. There's that famous Jordan Peele video from a few years ago which scared the shit out of boomers. But now that's everywhere. And he was right. This leads us to symptom number 2, irony entrenched. In order to cope with an increasingly scary world, Gen Z has turned to using the internet as a coping mechanism. And it's going great, actually. This is all very normal stuff. Coping in this way is nothing new. I've talked about it before in the past, but it's important context to have when you try to characterize someone of this nature. Satire and irony are easy. It's escapism that feels good. And in moderation, it can be. But when things get so bad that the irony starts to become constant and envelop everything you consume, nothing feels real anymore. At what point are you too far gone? This looks and sounds like a low-quality screen recording of an actual Joe Biden speech. Even if you're young and technologically savvy and you think you can spot these, there still might have been a few seconds where you went, oh, that's a low-quality Joe Biden speech, and everything feels normal. Until he starts saying this.
I had to cool myself off with a chocolate chip ice cream cone from Ben & Jerry's. Shit was actually fire.
And you're like, oh, right, it's a deep fake. But what if this wasn't what the creator wanted him to say? What if this was more high quality? What if this was presented more professionally? And what if they made him announce he was launching a weapon at a foreign adversary or declaring war? I can't help but think we're only a few years, if not months, out from the first major panic AI creates. It might not be there yet, but are we not close? Okay, but also they got Joe Rogan ones, and they're really funny. You gotta check them out. White women in parkour. I hope you know this video isn't getting any less strange. White women in parkour. I'm one of those. So as we mentioned, being terminally online is part of somebody's broader identity, whether you like it or not. In other words, it's a vibe. You know when you're like 10 minutes into a conversation with someone and then suddenly they bring up Jordan Peterson and you're like, oh shit, I bet this guy has pronouns. This is a really unique kind of pseudo-sociology we're engaging in right now because it's so centric to the medium that this discussion is being had on. This is a much easier conversation to have through the medium of the internet because it's more likely that you'll just kind of implicitly understand what I mean because your brain is broken. Some of my favorite interactions to have with people are when inherently terminally online topics become so popular that they break into the bubbles of people who are ostensibly normal. The average person likes a unique group of public figures, whether they're terminally online or not. However, public figures, due to the nature of their notoriety in an increasingly online world, are more likely to be subjected to being online discourse and thus are more likely to be terminally online. Thus, when a topic of discourse becomes big enough for a public figure to add their opinion to the public ledger, it subsequently causes a bunch of new groups to learn about the discourse. This is why the average high school mathematics teacher might have an opinion on J.K. Rowling. Look what you did. This is your fault. These people were never supposed to know about this. Which brings us to symptom number 3. Engaging in discourse. Discourse is a terrible thing and it's something you should never do. Twitter is a bad place that you should never go, except when I'm there. In which case, it's a really good place that you should go. If you're ever fighting with someone on Twitter, I'd strongly urge you to take your phone and throw it into the nearest river. I promise you it'll be a more productive use of your time. To sacrifice yourself to the culture war is not a hard task. It's actually really easy. It gets clicks and engagement, and it all around fuels your political agenda. Don't fall for it. If you see it anywhere near you, stay 10 feet away at all times and do not poke it with a stick. I swear to God, I open up Twitter and the very first thing I see is a quote retweet of some guy being like, Jewish people, and I go, nope, back in your box. No, you stop that right now. You know, J.K. Rowling also incidentally exemplifies a really interesting pattern that I've noticed anytime I go to the bad place, twitter.com, and it's that queer people are so disproportionately represented online than they are in the real world. In contrast to the population, like there aren't that many gay people, but you go online and you're like, oh my God, that's a lot of them. How'd they get there? But that's neither here nor there. Where was I? White women. Instagram Reels is a place I visit frequently, however, never consciously nor purposefully. And in contrast to my general demeanor, appearance, or philosophy in general, I am not in fact talking about intoxication, surprising though it may be. I'm actually very normal. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm fine. Unlike TikTok, where the entire user experience is tethered to and derived from a longing for short-form content, Instagram Reels gains its viewers from an already centralized user experience. So people come for that and then are thrust into a content farm they didn't ask for. This leads to an overall empty feeling experience for me, in my opinion, and up until the rise of Joe Biden deepfakes, it's just not something I've ever really been a fan of. Now I'm all for it though. Jamie, can we get another Joe clip?
What would Jesus seriously do? He's probably really busy. Let's rob the Pope.
I feel like I'm dying. As the internet's leading niche micro-influencer cultural analyst who is simultaneously destroying Western society as we speak, Apparently. Tough headline, man. Desperately need some positive mea culpa publicity. Journalists, DM me. My PR team is working overtime. I'm pretty good at spotting niche online trends, and one of the most interesting patterns I've noticed recently in content in general, but especially in short form, is just the love for accidental virality. The people who post videos online seemingly unconsciously and then accidentally create a masterpiece. Unfortunately, the internet being the internet, they can very easily go from satirical enjoyment to full-fledged hate mob. Like really fast. I'd honestly go as far as to say that this is like the modern day lolcow. Incidentally, if you know what a lolcow is, you're too far gone. Congratulations, you just passed the world's most depressing Turing test. For everyone else, a lolcow is basically, how do I explain this to like normal, healthy people? Okay. A lolcow is a derogatory internet word for those whose natural behavior is so entertaining that it can be exploited for the sake of enjoyment of an audience. It's not a good rabbit hole to go down, so I won't. I didn't know it was just that simple. However, this particular reincarnation is much more palatable for mass audiences. For example, Cindy. See, I told you we'd get there. Watch this video. Great. How many views do you think it has? You're wrong. It's 1.4 million. On the surface, this video tells a story, right? There's lore here. It looks like an older woman, unfamiliar with the technology she was using, was just watching a funny dog video and accidentally created an amalgamation of all the recent photos in her phone, and then with the click of a button, accidentally sent it to 1.4 million people. I love this video, and I'm deeply fascinated by it. We open with an accidental video taken in an attempt to take a photo. Already a great start. The video appears to show what is most likely some relatives of hers. But who are these relatives? How are the characters related to the protagonist? And for the love of God, what happens next? Well, don't you worry, the narrative continues. We cut to a video of Cindy herself, our first look at our heroic main character. A classic mirror selfie in which she appears to be potentially trying on clothes or just showing off an outfit. We just can't be sure. If you were looking for hard answers, you came to the wrong place. The queen only gives decrees. She does not bother with the monotony of truth. Next, we are treated to a static selfie followed by what appears to be another accidental video selfie, because she just won't quit. This is iconic behavior for sure, but then it just ends, and I'm left with more questions than when I started. Cindy, you've infiltrated my mind. So I go searching for more clues, but only then am I met with even more reels. Guys, you gotta check this out. There's so many up there. Most of these reels are also paired with the same videos. Just one banger after another. This wasn't even the first time. I will never be this good. This is quite frankly the peak of social media. No wonder this video has more views than my entire channel combined. She deserves it. And the comments seem to agree with me. For example, this is the video of all time. Too high for this. So many questions, but I'll just smile, like, and scroll. And of course, the iconic, classic Cindy moment. Also, a lot of people saying white woman jump scare. Boo. This single comment would go on to be iconic itself, a staple in the Cindy community. And don't mess with Cindy either. On a separate reel of hers, Isaac, unprovoked, tried swinging at her, and you won't believe what happened next. Get off Instagram. Everyone thinks you're weird for posting this personal family stuff. Shut the fuck up, Isaac. Shut the fuck up. Bro, you get off Insta. It's not funny to hate on people. You're just jealous. You're just not as cool as Cindy. Nah, let her cook. This is the internet I know and love. Forget everything else. We're just having fun here. This is what short form could have been. A force for good. A force for hope. A force for Cindy. But what about the bad ending? Jamie, in this next video, a child climbs a tree claiming to be doing a parkour tutorial.
What's up, guys? I'm literally on my tree right now.
This is undoubtedly, to use the correct terminology, sick as fuck. Extra Mia lore back when I was a child and a YouTuber. I actually did something very similar to this, but I ended up deleting the video a while later because I was embarrassed of it. I didn't like that. Nevertheless, the young man elevates this video with the fact that the little guy is dripped out in what appears to be his church outfit. He then utters the now iconic line.
If you are not this old to try it, please don't do it. Only I can do it because I'm 6 and I'm about to turn 7.
Truly groundbreaking stuff. No, literally, because then he fell out of the tree and the ground broke him. Those were real. Those are real cries of pain. He did say the skill was dangerous. If only you were 7. Should have waited until you were 7. What happened? I thought he was 6, about to turn 7. Bro almost didn't turn 7. And then you do more digging and you realize this is his brother's account. And then you get that weird feeling of, oh, this isn't authentic absurdism. You're not Cindy. You're a fraud. Little boy. Instagram Reels brings out a fundamental part of the terminally online experience. The absent-mindedness. It's scary, right? I don't like the feeling that I've never been fully conscious while engaging in a certain type of media. That's a really uncomfortable thought. It's fun, sure, but it's a stain on the very nature of the human psyche that I even enjoy engaging with this. It's absent-minded, it's uncritical, and it's embarrassing. It's kind of the same way I feel about TikTok, which means I gotta tread lightly, because last time I did a criticism of an app, it might get banned. That's my bad, guys. I'm sorry about that. The difference, though, is I want to ban it because it is bad for your health, and they want to ban it for xenophobic reasons. Where was I? Right, so I watched this kid fall out of a tree and it was really funny. Symptom number 4 is a propensity for a slightly warped sense of humor. Thus, you are much more likely to be extremely desensitized to this weird meta-ironic humor. Things that most people would find morally objectable suddenly don't seem so bad. You skew further and further onto one side of the spectrum. You're falling down the rabbit hole, and soon you may pass the point of no return. It's that social media machine taking the worst parts of you and turning it into a monetizable commodity. It's gross. It's gross. This is not what media should be about. Media should be about when Joe Biden says fuck.
Fuck.
God, that's so good. Oh, it's good. Shit like this is why I quit being a YouTuber to become a weird indie filmmaker. I enjoy the aggressive authenticity, the mix of comedy and purpose. The aesthetic of YouTuber and filmmaker blended together to make something new. It's the same reason I'll just randomly go out and direct a music video. Everything I do is just me constantly trying to prove to you that I can do anything I want. You can't fucking stop me. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna keep surprising you with every new endeavor I choose to go down. It's gonna be quality and it's gonna be talent and it's gonna have the relatability of me expressing my humanity authentically to you. But this robs us of that. This medium, it's algorithm over human. I'm being genuine about this. I've played the game and I fucking won. If I wanted to keep winning, I would. Algorithm over human, shock value over authenticity, and god damn it, Mark, I don't want to watch the most viewed reels in America. I want to be happy. I just want to be fucking happy. At what point does becoming terminally online become an ingrained part in all of us? I don't think social media needs to get banned or even that it's inherently bad. But what I do think is maximizing attention for the sake of profitability is a really twisted business model. This isn't a utopian pipe dream. It would only take a few people at the very top to fix this issue. We can use the algorithm for good. That's something I don't think we think about a lot. It's true, they can be good, I swear. We could use them to maximize human happiness rather than just attention machines. But yet, this is the position we're in. Being terminally online is increasing every day. More and more people are falling down the existential rabbit hole where you know every discourse, every battle, and every culture war. And worst of all, it's even possible that you've become a Twitch viewer. At what point is it too late? But then, you remember, there's a whole new generation coming up. Gen Z is simultaneously being taken advantage of by these companies and also running them. They're both the producers and the consumers. And come to think of it, I could probably just ask one. Oh shit, she has another trick up her sleeve.
I'm Sophia, I'm 18. That's my name, yeah.
Would you consider yourself terminally online?
You know, other people have said that. Do I agree? No, I would like to think I'm not terminally online.
What does being terminally online mean to you?
Spend a lot of time on the internet. Maybe use Twitter a lot. Like a lot. You know, just scrolling on there all the time. I don't know. Maybe you have a lot of social media accounts. It's really into some sort of like fandom or space, you just get really involved and maybe fighting with people. I feel like that's like a really weighted question.
What online communities were you involved in?
You know, I was really into like anime Twitter for a bit. That was a hard time. Really into Genshin Impact for a while. That was also really scary. It was a really dark time. I like to pretend like that didn't happen. There was a stint where I was just like bullying like Minecraft YouTuber fans on Twitter, but I feel like that was like deserved. That was fun. I enjoy that. Now I'm just doing my own thing, you know. Talk to my oomfies, talk to my mutuals.
You were the first person to tell me what a moot and an oomfie was. Do you mind defining those?
So like a mutual is like someone you follow and they follow you back, and you know, you're like your friends, your mutuals. And then oomph is like an acronym, right? OOMF, like one of my followers.
So what led you to being terminally online?
You know, I don't know, like that's just how I'm how I'm chilling, you know, like that's how I'm living. Like download social media, goes from there. I don't know, you know, you download Twitter, you download social media because your friends are like, wow, you should just Instagram, you know, you should get that. All the cool kids don't want to be cool, right? I'm like, okay, I'll download Instagram, download Twitter. And then, you know, you just want to seek out content from other things that you enjoy. So you're like looking up, I don't freaking know, you're like really into BTS, so I guess you're looking up BTS on Twitter and you're like, whoa, other people also really like BTS, and then you're like down that rabbit hole.
Getting online, was that like a social pressure almost?
Maybe a little bit. Like I think a part of it, because you know, it's like you're in middle school and you want to feel connected. Everyone else has like Instagram, so you're like, well, what am I missing out on? Like that FOMO, you're not missing out on anything. No one's posting anything interesting, but you get it. And then it just kind of goes from there.
So, why are young people terminally online? Because they have to be. That's how they communicate. This was admittedly fascinating to me, a normative view of social media from someone just following the crowd. I honestly couldn't fathom the idea that somebody would get on social media not for the sake of sharing some deep part of them through content or art, but just for the basic need of communication. Because all your friends are doing it, so you want to do it too. It's human nature. I've talked ad nauseum about how Gen Z has been thrust down the rabbit hole and how companies profit from that and what the effects of that could be on future generations and all that other commie bullshit. So I'll spare you my speech this time. Because instead, I think it'd be beneficial to give you a weird, offbeat example. I started this project by talking about AI and deepfakes because I think it's fascinating and it's such an interesting thing that I want to capture right now in this moment, right at the beginning of this new revolution. ChatGPT came out like 5 months ago, AI voices are on the rise, and deepfakes are growing in popularity. And every single company right now is rushing to jump on the trend. I want to make it very clear, I don't want to fearmonger about this. I understand the hesitation. I too am paranoid. I own this Google Home, but I always keep it unplugged because I'm scared of being listened to. But then I want to know the weather, and so I call for it, and I realize it's unplugged, and so I go to plug it back in, but then I'm like, you know what, it's just a tap away on my phone. Why am I going through all this effort? And then I'm like, why do I own this thing? Artificial intelligence as a concept is now breaking into the mainstream. It's genuinely starting to affect our lives in meaningful ways, but the people at the front of this movement who are the most invested in it are the most terminally online. I have seen some wild ChatGPT conversations. You people are sick. And that's why AI is such a fascinating example of being terminally online. It all intersects. Every part of this is connected. Meta-ironic humor intersects with deepfakes, intersects with internet culture, intersects with silly little guys. In my effort to view as many Joe Biden videos as possible, I inadvertently stumbled onto a very fascinating account. It's nothing particularly remarkable. It's just a bunch of video game memes, most of which I don't even understand because if you recall, I was too busy grinding. They call me Apple, the way I got caught utilizing child labor. Call me offshore manufacturing, the way I got away with exploiting the work of a 9-year-old. Call me the GOP, the best way I can describe the content I saw is like video game nostalgia bait, if that makes sense. And it's infinitely fascinating to me. It's a look into the minds of a new generation and the things they'll reminisce on in the future. People often joke that kids these days are gonna look back on Cocomelon the same way Gen Z looks at SpongeBob, the same way millennials looks at Rugrats, and so on and so forth. Every generation thinks their media is the best. It's nothing new. This is hyper-specific niche nostalgia core, and I'm mesmerized by it. Much like how you could be mesmerized by patreon.com/MiaCole, because this video costs like $800 to make, so like please just, you know, check it out if you want. Yes, that's a real number. I mean, you see this depth of field? You see that microphone? Symptom number 5. Unfulfilled. This is where things start to get serious. Becoming unfulfilled by the day-to-day monotony of life is nothing exclusive to being terminally online. However, it can really exacerbate other symptoms of it. I want to make it really clear, being unfulfilled in the real world is deeply disheartening. It's easy to make fun of brain-broken Twitter users and chronically online Zoomers, but would you not also rely on online communities if you were in their shoes? If you woke up every day feeling alone, if the only place you could authentically express yourself was in the safety of anonymity, if you felt disconnected from everyone and everything around you, maybe you feel that way right now. Okay, but also sometimes the shit is just hilarious. Like, it's not that deep.
Boys, we've done it!
I see this work of art and I think, yes. What do you want me to say? Better example. Ooh, it burns, doesn't it? Ooh. Now this is authentic Zoomer expression. Unfortunately. I'm supposed to be the Gen Z expert, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know what this means. But what I do know is this is a Zoomer post clearly trying to describe the feelings and the pain behind your friends growing up and maturing without you. This is a relatable feeling. It's probably a universal human emotion. But it's being expressed to us through the fascinating medium of slowed and reverb Harry Styles music. I know what you're thinking. But I think this is the only way a lot of this generation can express these feelings on a widespread medium like this. It's aggressive relatability told through aggressive shareability. Memes, because that's the only fucking thing we know how to communicate through anymore. Because, you know, everything we do has to please the algorithm. Which is weirdly relatable. So the weird thing about this is, this wouldn't work otherwise. But that didn't stop the creator from trying to express this through social media. Even the caption, man. Started hashtag Fortnite in high school. Now, I'm graduating college. It's only 5 years. Symptom number 6, when online relationships start to take precedence over real life ones. Being terminally online often has its roots in other areas of one's life. It's much easier to fall into being terminally online if there are already extenuating circumstances. One very strong one just simply being not fitting in with those around you. So you gotta look for community in the only other place you can. The internet. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Forming online communities is kind of what the internet does best. It fulfills our innate human desire to engage in social behavior without all the risk associated with the real world. However, when you let these communities encompass the entirety of your social network, loneliness starts to set in. And when that happens, it feels like you're past the point of no return. Thus, you go deeper and deeper into the weeds of online social interaction. But the second that community implodes or rejects you, you'll feel the pain of being alone more severely than ever. Because you put all your eggs in one basket. And now you're left with nothing. In the last month while writing this video, I've genuinely had to confront a question that I think a lot of us are going to be reflecting on very soon. Is what I'm seeing even real? I've seen some wild examples of AI voices and deepfakes that people are using under the radar. Joe Biden videos are a really good test of this capability, and it also helps that they're really funny. However, the doomsday scenario of a bad actor making the president say something like, "I'm starting war," it's not really likely. I don't think that would cause the mass panic as I think a lot of us would like to imagine it would.
Today, we've had a national tragedy.
Dragons have invaded Dave & Buster's.
Fact checkers and the average critical thinker would most likely put a stop to this kind of catastrophe. Although I will say I wouldn't put too much stock in critical thinking on Twitter. No, the people who should be worried are not public figures. Though there will probably be a small group of people who do fall victim to it and get their reputation permanently damaged. But I think the people who should actually be worried are the people with no public standing. I genuinely believe the average private citizen is more at risk for this than a public figure. Those who don't have hundreds of thousands of people ready to fact check the source of a video or the authenticity of a photo. Like that viral video of Joe Biden calling himself a white boy.
I may be a white boy, but I'm not stupid.
Anyone with half a brain could tell that this is AI generated. Wait, that one's real?
Have you ever engaged in cyberbullying or like been cyberbullied yourself?
So if I said yes, like this makes me sound like a horrible person, you know, but I just think cyberbullying, sometimes it's just necessary. I don't know. It's silly, it's fun, you know. Sometimes you're being a hater in like a fun way, and then other times you're being a hater in like an evil way, and that's not cool. You have to be a hater in like a fun, quirky way.
What are the differences between your online and in-person relationships?
Maybe online, you know, because you're like, you know you're probably never gonna meet them in real life, so maybe you're more tempted to just say shit that you're not gonna really say in real life. Not like mean things, just in general. Like you're more inclined to just say, maybe disclose things that you wouldn't normally, because you know that like you're not really gonna interact with them ever again.
So what's the deal with Gen Z then? Are the youths gonna be okay? I think so. At least as okay as the rest of us can be. I do think it's important to advocate for not falling down the rabbit hole though. It's easy and it's fun to do, but who does it benefit? Certainly not you. You like this? My only goal here is to prevent wider society from living in this weird attention economy like I do. Perhaps we do already, but I still think, possibly naively, that there's still more we can do. There's a lot of good out there. There's no point in focusing on the bad. The final pieces of this puzzle are by far the most sinister. Symptom number 7 is political radicalization. And I'm not talking about the fun kind. A lot of people call me a bread tuber, perhaps because we have a similar vibe, or because I'm friends with all of them. We just can't be sure. But one thing I do know is the kind of radicalization I'm referring to goes much farther beyond the popular sentiments echoed in this side of the internet. And it goes in all directions. Radicalization exists in many forms online. Seedy chat rooms and disgraced forums can bring out the darkest sides of humanity. Although I will say my favorite type of radicalization has to be e-girl military recruiting. I'd say it's safe to say if you're considering joining the military because an e-girl on TikTok told you to, you're too far gone. You might be terminally online. However, radicalization to this extent can lead people on a dark path, becoming totally and utterly disconnected from their friends and family. And the question then becomes, how can you pull someone from the grips of this addiction? And at what point is it too late? And yet, even worse than that, the final symptom is, of course, becoming a Discord moderator. There's no going back from that. I'm sorry. You're too far gone. I can't help you. So what does it all mean? Terminally online. Why? I've had a really hard time writing this video, and I don't know why. I've never spent this long on a short video before. I guess this is a short video to me now. I think it's because of how inescapable this all feels. There's new technology coming out constantly, just tempting you to consume more, be more aware, take the poison, and like it. Be a part of it 24/7, be both the creator and the consumer. And that's kind of been my problem. If this is inescapable, how do you analyze it from a critical perspective? I feel almost hypocritical talking about this because being terminally online benefits me. If you're constantly consuming content and you choose to allow me to be part of your media diet, that benefits me. And that's not a bad thing. That's great. I love money and I love attention. So it's all good. But what's good for business for me is what's good for business for them. These tech companies that want to continue to addict and reel in viewers, my interests are aligned with theirs. These companies who I have such a deep disdain for, the commodification of attention and everything else that comes from it, that's good for me. And sure, it's all a bit dramatic, but it's a weird guilt I have to harbor. And also, what the fuck did you expect? Do you know who you're watching? It's all dramatic. This is so dramatic. That's why you like it. You're dramatic. I'm not responsible for your actions. I don't claim to understand you people, but I do gain from it. And don't get me wrong, I love that. 100,000 views, yes please, gimme. But I want my art to be consumed by people because it is undeniably of quality. I want to give you entertainment and I want to give you amusement and I also just want to give you something to watch while you're eating. That's arguably the most important one. I want to have an audience because they like me, not because I'm just another cog in the machine. Very profitable cog at that. Very profitable. So what is it all for? Social media, AI, the commodification of attention, discourse, Joe Biden. What was any of this for? To look within.
you know, takes one to know one, okay? Yeah.